How's it going, YouTube? And my fellow XJWs, those of you who I occasionally interact with, many of you I don't. But good afternoon. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. It's JW Illusion here, and I know it has been a while since I have done any type of video, and that is because, I'm doing much like you guys. I'm living life, enjoying my family, enjoying my career, and doing lots of fun stuff. Plus, we moved to a new home right at the beginning of spring. Well, yeah, at the beginning of spring this year, May of this year. So that in itself was very busy, getting all of that stuff together, getting kids into a new community, integrated basically into a new community and into a new school system and all of that. Everything has been wonderful. We absolutely love it, but that's why I have just not had chances to make videos. And you know what, guys? I mean, I've made, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 videos, not a ton. And I was trying to do one on a monthly basis for a while. But as time goes on, more and more XJWs come onto the platform and express themselves, share their perspective. And then those of us who have been doing it for a while kind of like fade out. So it's really like passing the baton is kind of how I look at it. So I'll still do videos on occasion, and I actually did do one earlier in the summer. I just never got a chance to editing it and all of that good stuff. So perhaps I'll get that one out as well. But the reason why I wanted to come to you on this video and make this one was for two things. Number one, I have an annual video that I do on December 30th or 31st, somewhere around there, where I talk about, hey, here's another year that's gone by, and the Watchtower's predictions of the end of the world still have not come true. We know that they won't come true, of course, but I do that every year. That's like maybe a 3-4 minute video. So that's going to be ongoing. So that'll be coming up next month, obviously, because this is November. But today, and a few weeks back too, my family and I visited a church. Now, since I'm no longer a Jehovah's Witness, I am not really that interested in religion or things related to it. But, for the sense of community, decided to go take a look at a church here in our local community, right? And so when I got there, I noticed several things that really caught my attention. And that's why I wanted to do this particular video. So, just starting off, when we walked into the place, it was a really nice church. Modern, not one of the old ones, and there's nothing wrong with old churches. I've traveled through Europe and I've seen old churches and they're amazing. They're beautiful. This one was much more modern, obviously. Modern seating, big video screens all over the walls. They played music, live instruments, some pretty good singers here and there. So, that was good. And the service was 1 hour, by the way. 1 hour flat, folks were in and out. They provided coffee, some, small candies and all this stuff that you can bring into the auditorium, drinking your coffee and kind of having a good time there. You can do that. So all of those things that I noticed, very relaxed atmosphere. And people come as they are, which was one of the messages that they mentioned today, actually. Come as you are. And when I was a Jehovah's Witness and I was a ministerial servant and an elder, you had to be dressed to the nines, right? You had to be dressed up, and they said, you got to give Jehovah your best. You got to give him your best. But that's not necessarily true, because we should be able to come to God however we are. We may be, and this is, on a personal level, however folks want to view God and their relationship with him and stuff like that. I know a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, or ex-JWs, I should say, they are not into religions, similar to what I am. But the whole point about this was you should be able to come to God however you are. Broken down, with nothing, God should be accepting of you. So that's one thing right there, again, that really reaffirms how I feel about Jehovah's Witnesses, and that their message is completely wrong, 100%, not grounded in truth or facts, and basically lies. So God would be accepting of anybody. You didn't have to have on a suit, a 3-piece suit or a 2-piece suit. Most of the brothers wore cheap suits back then anyway. They probably still do. But you don't have to have the fancy suit on and all of that crap. All the men that I saw today came in jeans. Some of them had on baseball caps, vests, light coats, gym shoes. No big deal. In fact, some young guys came in there with their football jerseys on. Not the pads and all that, but just the jerseys. Not a big deal. Come as you are. I thought that was awesome. Here's another thing that I felt was really, really neat. There were people who were attendants. That's what they used to call them back in the JW days. Attendants were only brothers. It takes a man to say, hey, those 2 seats available? Okay, you, come on. See, the JWs, the only men could do that. But here at this church today, there were women who were what they call them our team members. They don't have to be attendants or ushers or anything like that. I think that's just a church term for it. But they were helping people find seats. It doesn't take a man to be the person who walks up and looks for a couple of empty seats and then gives somebody the direction to sit there. Women were doing it too, and they had on their little shirts that said they had on their little shirts that said team members. I thought that was cool. I thought that was awesome. The message was pretty straightforward, nothing super deep down. They read 5 or 6 scriptures. They made some everyday application. There was some joking, some laughing, stuff like that. It wasn't super serious. You didn't have to sit there and go through 18, 19, 20 pages or 20 paragraphs with a silly question or two in each paragraph and folks raising their hand. It was nothing like that. There wasn't an hour-long public talk or 45 minutes, what they used to be, with some guy who's not the best speaker, bores you to death, reads probably 25, 30, 40 scriptures, which isn't necessary in my opinion. Keeping things simple, keep it simple. So I really like this whole way they had this organized. And again, service was 1 hour in and out. They did communion. You don't have to partake if you don't want. Most folks do. They have some social networks built in where if you feel you need to talk to someone, they have that available. And they have a section for kids. Now, here's a big one for a lot of us. I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, right? Born into it. And there was never an alternate room that I could go into to learn at my level. Obviously, there was the youth book and then the Bible story book, but I still had to sit right next to my parents. And I got a few of those, when I wasn't paying attention or not being quiet or I was being restless because I was a typical young person. The Jehovah's Witnesses are very one-dimensional, very monolithic. Everything's got to be this way. And so now, I see how these other churches work, and they've been doing this for a long time. They've got, a part for, a room for little children to learn at their age. And I think it's in various age levels too. So it's like, 5 to 7, and then, 8 to 10, 11 to 14, whatever the rooms are that they go to. And they teach kids at their level. They let them play games. One of my children told me there's video games there. So, all these different ways just that I saw completely in contrast to the Jehovah's Witnesses. But what I do see that the Jehovah's Witnesses now are doing is I hear that they have all their little video screens up too. And that, obviously I've seen stuff on JW.org where they pump in videos, all of these videos from JW broadcasts and all these corny music videos that they're doing, way different from what I ever experienced as a Jehovah's Witness. Way different, completely different. But hey, they're trying to evolve, so to speak, because they see that their membership is in huge decline and they're really trying to change that. They obviously realize what's going on, and so they're trying to make these new revisions to how their organization works to make it more appealing to people. In my opinion, way too late for that. Plus, they're liars. They're liars. They destroy families. They control people. They manipulate people. Not a good organization. And soon to be, as we continue to do these videos and other platforms to get the information out there, hopefully soon to be completely shuttered. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, this was a quick video. Look for my video next month, my annual one. And as I have time and, not traveling and doing other things, I will make some videos. Got my office set up here in the new place, and it's pretty cool. So hopefully you guys are all doing well. Feel free to reach out to me via email. I've said that lots of times. I guess the XJW community, some folks just kind of like to gravitate towards their own. I'm not that way. I'm open to anyone who's a former JW or JWs who are PMOs, and just kind of want to understand or know my experience, because I have, quite a bit of experience, like I said, as having been a born in and really kind of ascended up the ranks into that organization and, saw how things work from the inside. I'm talking everything from being auxiliary pioneer to a ministerial servant to elder to having parts on the circuit assemblies to having parts each week. Back then we had the, theocratic ministry school, we had the service meeting. So I've done all of that, seen all of that. That's why when I look at the huge change in the organization today, I really wonder why some people who are still in even believe what they are saying, because it's just so blatant now. But, to each his own. Again, reach out if you'd like to chat. Look forward to your comments, and have a great week and a great rest of this year and a wonderful 2020. Again, I'll be saying that next month.